He wore the same faded blue uniform every night, spoke little to customers, always kept his coffee black and his radio low. Young customers called him Gramps, laughed at how he slowly counted their change, waited impatiently while he walked with a slight limp. Nobody at Miller's gas station knew that Tom had served 2 tours in Afghanistan. Nobody cared why he always checked the locks twice or why his eyes never stopped scanning the parking lot, until the night 3 gang members decided to rob what they thought was just another helpless old man. Welcome to the Hidden Page Stories. Before we begin this powerful story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button and help us keep these stories alive. Tom Steele was 67 years old, but he still came to work every night shift. Miller's 24-hour gas station sat on the edge of town, a little off the main road, in a place most people wouldn't notice. During the day, it had a family business atmosphere, but at night it transformed completely. Neon lights flickered on and off, automatic doors chimed metallically, and Tom's footsteps echoed across the linoleum floor. He always arrived early. Though his shift started at 11 p.m., he was there by 10:30. The day shift girl, Sarah, would tell him the same thing every time. "Tom, you don't need to come this early." Tom would just smile and say, "Old habits." Sarah didn't know that Tom came early to survey the area. The parked cars, the shadows near the street lights, the exit routes to the main road. She didn't know that Tom ran through the same mental checklist every night. Cameras working, alarm system active, panic button accessible, emergency exits clear. For the first 2 years, there had been no problems. Tom would organize the shelves in the quiet of the night, clean the floors, help the occasional customers who came by. Most were truck drivers, people who came from long distances to fuel up, buy cigarettes and coffee, then continue on their way. They were respectful to Tom. "Thanks, man," they'd say. "Have a good night." But lately, different types of customers had started coming in. Young, fast, impatient. They'd play loud music while waiting at the gas pumps, look down on Tom when they entered the store. "Hurry up, Gramps," they'd say. "We got time, you don't." Tom never took any of them seriously. That's how young people were. They hadn't learned anything from life yet. But sometimes, very rarely, he'd see something familiar in their eyes. Danger. A predator's gaze. That's when he'd be a little more careful. That cold November night, Tom had arrived early for his shift as always. Sarah handed him the thermos she'd prepared for the night. "Tonight feels a little too quiet," she said, "like the calm before a storm." Tom looked at the thermos and smiled. "Don't worry, kiddo. Everything will be fine." As Sarah grabbed her bag and headed for the door, she stopped. "Tom, those last few customers, they seemed a bit strange to me, especially those guys in the car at the corner." Tom's head immediately turned. "Which car?" "Black Camaro. They've been there for over an hour. They haven't bought gas, haven't purchased anything. They're just waiting." Tom looked out the window toward the parking lot. Sure enough, there was a black Camaro parked there, engine running. He could see 3 people inside, their silhouettes unclear in the darkness. "You go home," Tom said in a calm voice. "I'll handle it." Sarah hesitated. "Are you sure? Maybe we should call the police." "No need." Tom's voice was resolute. "They haven't done anything yet. Maybe they're just resting." But Tom knew this wasn't resting. He could tell with 30 years of military experience. They were scouting, surveillance. They had plans. After Sarah left, Tom changed his routine. He emptied the register, put the large bills in the hidden compartment under the cash drawer. He checked the angles of the security cameras. He reviewed the location of the panic button once more. Then, most importantly, he remembered his old habits. He had never forgotten what he learned in Afghanistan. Area control, exit points, defensive positions. This gas station wasn't a base, but the same principles applied. By 1:30 a.m., the Camaro was still there. Tom checked his radio, tuned it to the police frequency. Then he pulled out a small bag from under the register. Inside were a few things he used to use: tactical flashlight, first aid kit, and one more thing, something most people wouldn't expect to see. At 2 a.m., the Camaro's doors opened. Three men got out of the car, all young, all determined, all dangerous. They wore ski masks, but Tom could identify them by their walks. The one walking in front was the leader. Broad shoulders, confident steps. The two following behind were more nervous, constantly looking around. Tom watched them approach the store. His heart rate was close to normal. His breathing was controlled. The calm he had learned 30 years ago seemed to have returned. When the automatic doors opened, the leader entered first. His eyes locked directly onto Tom. "Old man, don't be scared. Just do what I tell you and nobody gets hurt." Tom placed his hands on the counter, slowly. "What do you want, son?" "I want all the money in the register. Now." The second man stood by the door, continuing to watch outside. The third was walking around the store, watching Tom from between the shelves. "Son," Tom said in a calm voice, "there isn't much money here. Maybe $150, $200. The leader slammed his fist on the counter. "Don't lie. Gas stations always have cash. Open the register." Tom looked at him. What he saw in his eyes saddened him. Desperation. These kids weren't really bad, they'd just gone down the wrong path. But that didn't make them any less dangerous. "Sure, son. I'll open the register." As Tom leaned toward the register, his old reflexes kicked in. Situational awareness. The leader was 2 meters away, his gun in his right hand. The man at the door had turned his back. The man in the back couldn't see Tom clearly from between the shelves. When the register opened, Tom took out the money inside. "This is all there is," he said. The leader got angry when he saw the money. "That's it? Do you think we're stupid?" "No, son, this really is all there is." "Then maybe we need to motivate you a little." The leader pointed his gun at Tom's head. That's when everything changed. Tom's body language suddenly transformed. His shoulders pulled back, his posture straightened, his eyes sharpened. 30 years of civilian life vanished in an instant, and Staff Sergeant Tom Steele remained. "Son," Tom said, his voice now completely different, "I suggest you lower that weapon." The leader was surprised. He hadn't expected such a voice and tone from this old man. "What did you say?" "You heard what I said. Lower that gun, gather your friends and get out of here. This is your last chance." The leader laughed, but his laughter came out forced. "You're crazy, old man. I'm the one with the gun. The threat is coming from me." Tom's eyes locked with the leader's. "Kid, have you ever seen real war? Have you ever had bullets rain down on you? Have you ever watched your friends die before your eyes?" The leader's hand started to shake. There was something about this old man, something he couldn't understand. "I served 2 tours in Afghanistan," Tom said calmly but clearly. "I was on 96 missions. I experienced 23 close-quarters combat situations. And you're making the biggest mistake of your life right now." The man at the door was trying to understand what was happening. "Hey, Mike, what's going on?" Leader Mike's eyes were still on Tom. He wasn't so sure anymore. "I'm telling you for the last time," Tom said. "Get out of here, now." But Mike had gone too far. He couldn't back down. "Shut up, old man," he said and touched the trigger. That's when Tom moved. 30 years of muscle memory came flooding back instantly. Tom rolled right, out of Mike's line of fire. At the same time, he reached for the bag he had pulled out from under the register. Mike's first bullet passed by the edge of the counter. His second hit where Tom had been standing just moments before. "Damn it," Mike yelled. "Get him!" But Tom was already in motion. He had emerged from behind the counter and spread throughout the store. In his hand was now something different, an old but well-maintained pistol, Colt .45. He had bought it as a souvenir when returning from Afghanistan. The man at the door, Dave, didn't understand what was happening. "Mike, what is this guy doing?" "Shut up and stop him," Mike yelled. Dave pulled out his gun, but Tom had already taken position. He emerged from behind the shelf, not where Dave expected. Dave's gun hadn't turned toward Tom yet when Tom moved. One shot. Clean, precise, effective. Dave's gun flew from his hand, and he fell to the ground screaming in pain. "Dave!" yelled the man in the back. "Tony." He was also trying to pull out his gun, but Tom already knew his position. "Stop!" Tom yelled. His voice was now completely that of a commander. "Drop your weapon on the ground, or I won't miss next time." Tony froze. His gun was half drawn in his hand. Mike was still looking for Tom, his eyes frantically scanning the area. "Where are you, damn it?" "I'm right here, kid." Mike turned and saw Tom among the shelves, in a calm stance. His gun was pointed at Mike, but there was no tension on Tom's face. This seemed to be over. "Impossible," Mike muttered. "You're just an old man." "No," Tom said. "I'm Staff Sergeant Tom Steele, 82nd Airborne Division, and you're in my territory." The police arrived 12 minutes later, but by then, everything was over. 3 young men sat in the store, hands behind their heads, under Tom's calm but determined supervision. Dave's hand was wounded, but there was no life-threatening danger. Tony had never been able to draw his gun. Mike's weapon had been safely unloaded by Tom and set aside. The first police officer to arrive was Danny O'Connor, who had known Tom for years. When he entered the store, the scene he saw surprised him. "Tom, are you okay?" "I'm fine, Danny. I had a little trouble with these 3 young men." Danny looked around. Broken glass, bullet holes, but Tom was calmly sipping his coffee as if nothing had happened. "Tom, how did you manage to—" Tom smiled. "Old habits die hard." When the ambulance arrived, they bandaged Dave's hand. It wasn't a serious injury. All 3 were taken to the police station in good health. As Danny wrote his report, he asked Tom, "Tom, I didn't know you had a military background." "I didn't see the need to mention it," Tom said. "It was in the past anyway." "In the past?" Danny looked around. "What happened tonight doesn't look like it stayed in the past." Tom shrugged. Some things are never forgotten. When the sun rose, Miller's gas station had returned to normal. The windows had been replaced, the floor cleaned, reports written. Tom had completed his shift and was ready to go home. Sarah came early, having heard what happened. "Tom, are you okay? Is what I heard true?" "I'm fine, kiddo. Just had a little excitement." "Excitement?" Sarah's eyes widened. "Tom, were you really a soldier?" Tom gathered his thermos, took his keys. "I was. A long time ago." "Why didn't you ever say?" Tom stopped, looked at Sarah. "Because, kiddo, real warriors don't brag. They only come forward when necessary." Sarah was about to ask something else, but Tom had already headed for the door. "Tom," she called after him. "Thank you." Tom turned, smiled. "You're welcome, kiddo. That's my job." As Tom went home, Miller's gas station returned to normal. Customers came and went. Life continued. But now, everyone who looked at Tom saw something different. That night, the story was broadcast on local news channels. "Elderly gas station employee single-handedly prevents robbery attempt." But Tom didn't give interviews. He didn't appear before cameras. "I have other things to do," he had told the reporter, because real heroes don't act to be noticed. They act when necessary. Tom Steele had learned this over 30 years. That night, he just remembered. And the next night, he returned to the same shift. Same uniform, same calm demeanor, same quiet stance. As if nothing had happened. Because some people just do their duty. No applause expected, no reward desired. They just do what's right. Tom Steele was one of those people. And Miller's gas station was now the safest place in the area. Now I ask you, have you ever encountered someone like Tom? Someone who seemed ordinary but actually had extraordinary stories? Share their story in the comments, because at the Hidden Page Stories we believe that the heroes who serve silently will not be forgotten. If this story moved you, subscribe, share, and help keep these voices alive. We'll see you in the next story. Until then, if you see an elderly man working quietly at a gas station, know that his story might be much deeper than you think.